Hello, friends, and welcome back to 20 Questions with. For those of you who are new here, this is my fun way of introducing you to other costumers and costubers by asking them 20 silly questions. Today, we are talking to Christine of Sewstine. Hi, Christine.
Hello.
Welcome to my channel.
It's so good to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel and all your shop stuff and stuff like that?
So hi, I'm Christine. I like to go by Sewstine because my nickname is actually Steen. And when I'm sewing, I'm Sewstine. I mostly do a lot of embroidery and different trims, but I generally like 1740s to about 1890s. I'll occasionally go to 1900s, but that's about it. And I really love finding new ways to make technology to make my life easier. So it's a really fun hobby, and I love teaching and sharing everything that I learned. So I have a blog and a Etsy shop where I sell digital files if you want to make the same things as me. And occasionally I'll make some kits because it's really fun to put together kits.
Yeah, she has these pockets that are like 2020 dumpster fire pockets that are absolutely amazing. She also has like a really beautiful housewife kit that is amazing. Do you still have those on your shop?
I'm sold out of those at the moment until I can get more thread.
Keep checking back because she updates this all the time. And there are embroidery patterns. There are what are those called? Badge holders that look like cameos. They are so pretty. I love them.
Thank you. Those are because I at the hospital you're not allowed to wear necklaces or earrings, but you can wear a pretty badge clip. So they're really good for hospital, and they are actually bleach proof. You can wipe those down with hospital bleach and it will not dissolve.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Took me a while to figure that out.
Are you ready to play 20 questions?
I am.
When someone finds out what you do, what question do they always ask you?
What I do for sewing or what I do for work?
Let's do both, because Christine's a doctor. The doctor is in the house.
I'm an anesthesiologist. If they're in sewing and they find out that I'm a doctor, the first thing they ask me is what kind of doctor or for real. And then the third question is usually, is your husband also a doctor?
No, he is not.
No, he is not. On purpose.
On purpose. I would love to be.
And if I'm, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where like whenever we go to like a doctor meeting, they always assume he's the doctor because it just says Dr. Millar. And they're like looking at this like tall, good-looking brunette guy with like shiny blue eyes, and they're like, no, it's this one.
This one. She's smarter than everyone you've ever met. That's right.
Now, if they're in medicine and they find out that I sew, they're like, are you really like, are you still good at your job? Is one of them. And the other thing is, how do you have time or how do you sleep?
I in fact think I asked you that because I met you at an embroidery. She was teaching us how to digitize embroidery, and I was like, I had a little bit of vomit coming up in my mouth because I was realizing how many hours she was spending doing. She make one change, and then you have to hit basically save or whatever, and then it would take the computer like 4 minutes to like process that change, and then you could draw the next thread. And she does entire court gowns. It's insane. So I was sitting through this class just going like, oh my God. And she's like, oh yeah. And I'm also a doctor and I work 60, 80 hours a week and I have a toddler and this and that. And I was like, do you sleep?
Thank you. That is actually my most frequently asked question. Do you sleep? And yes, I sleep. I sleep now. My secret is that I sleep train the crap out of my kid. There's this book out there called 12 Hours by 12 Weeks, and we didn't actually quite hit 12 weeks. We hit 21 weeks, but by 21 weeks, he was sleeping 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Wow.
That's when I sew.
Huh. I basically sleep like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
But then you have the rest of the night, and you're so productive at night.
I am.
I love it when I watch your channel and you're like, oh, it's 3 a.m. right now. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. What they don't see though is when I'm saying, oh, it's 3 a.m., it's 5 a.m. where you are. And so I'm probably actually already texting you.
It's true. I wake up at 4:30 to 5 a.m. every single day. So, but like,
I'm like, hey guys, how's it going?
But I also go to bed every single night at 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you need good sleep because you're a doctor.
I either work 24 hours or I work not at all. Like I do 24s. So when I do sleep, I sleep hard.
Wait, you do all 24s?
So it depends on the shift. So as a doctor, you really get to pick your schedule, and it depends on the field you go into. Like I didn't want to do clinic, which is where you work 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day. So dermatology was out, like primary care was out. And I really like the immediacy of anesthesia and how many procedures you get to do. You intubate, you do lines, you do TEEs. Like it's all very like finger heavy, which of course I like. And this isn't even a question, but yeah, so you get to pick the schedule. So anesthesia is one of those fields where you can either be like a day person, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., like 4 days a week, or you could do 5 days, like 7 to 3. I picked the 24 hours and you do like 2 or 3 of those, like 3 of those a week and like 112.
That's so many hours. That is so many hours.
But oftentimes I do get to sleep several hours overnight. But on the other hand, there are a lot of nights where I don't sleep at all. So like trade-offs.
I don't understand how you would do that, because if I was up for that long, I would be like, sure, you can have these drugs. Oops. Like, mm-mm.
Oh my God. Well, it takes, that's why they train the crap out of you for like 4 years in residency, where you really get used to sleeping like that.
Yeah.
And now I really like it because that means, I have some weeks where I work 3 24s, other weeks where I work 2 24s, and then you get a lot of days off because that's how you make your hours work to 60 to 80, right? Because if you think about it, 2 24s is already 48. You
Yeah.
add 112 in, and then that's 60.
Wow.
But then you still have 4 days off.
Yeah. Okay. No.
And you're not, I didn't sell you on this.
No. Also, my mom and dad and my stepmom and my aunt are all nurses, and they tried to get me to go to either nursing school or be a doctor, and I was like, "Nuh-uh. I don't like body fluids. I'm out. Like, I don't want to. Nuh-uh. I don't even like my husband and I have a kind of deal where I deal with input on cats and he deals with output, because I don't like fluids at
Oh
all.
God, body fluids are like totally like fine with me. The only thing I'm like still kind of queasy about, I have to confess, is open eye surgery. Like I don't want to talk about it because I want people to actually watch the rest of your video, but even I can't watch it
I
sometimes.
think I would make a teaser of me going, this is what happened in my interview with Christine. I made this face.
Like like open eye surgery is the only one where I'm like, okay,
Yeah, no. I'm also a sympathetic puker. So if I hear it, see it, or smell it, I will do it. And this is
oh
too
my
much
God.
information for the internet, but when I throw up, my entire body clenches, like every muscle in my body clenches. So if I have to pee or poo, guess what happens?
Okay, are you gonna post this online?
I am. Everybody needs to know, if you make me barf, that's what's going to go down.
Okay, I really hope someone doesn't puke in front of you at Coco just because they know this now.
I will run.
'Cause
Like if I see someone going like, I'm like, bye, and I bolt. I'm like, I can't.
no, oh my God, do it. Like that's yes.
I have thrown up from my cat throwing up. So, nuh-uh.
Oh my God. Okay.
We're on question one.
The things we learn.
What luxury is totally worth the price?
Fabric, Scalamandre fabric. Oh, silk thread.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Silk thread is worth it. It's ridiculously
So,
stupid expensive, but it's worth it.
okay, so I have this addiction to silk thread. Like I don't mind working with cotton. I don't mind working with linen. Like it doesn't have to be high end, but like I have to embroider with silk thread because it just looks so much nicer. That sheen of silk thread on linen, on cotton, on anything is so beautiful. And the way that silk fibers like soak in the colors are so much more vibrant than you'll ever get with polyester or rayon. And the silk thread that I use is from Japan. It's called tire silk because it turns out no one in the US embroiders with silk enough.
Yeah.
Like there was a point when I was working on my frock coat for Matt's frock coat that we wore to Venice. I literally bought up every single distributor in the US and Canada.
Wow.
Like it was literally every single distributor in
Wow.
order to get it because I couldn't source it because everyone was sold out. Now I have a connection to actual Japan and they actually mail it to me, which Noelle knows about because I've embroidered for her. But
Literally, I'm like, no, Polly's fine. Just, it's okay. And she's like, you're getting silk. Deal with it. And I'm like, okay. Cool. It's just a patch, but okay. Done.
But come on, it looks prettier, the sheen.
It does. I totally agree. It totally looks better.
So, and
I'm
then that's
hard.
one of the reasons why in my shop, like I think I could probably make my pockets like $15 cheaper if I just didn't use silk thread on every single one.
But you
But
wouldn't
I
want
want to
that.
make sure that my customers get the best. And like I want them to open it and go, wow, that sheen.
Yeah. And they are stunning, I have to say. Like it is, I'm like, do I have one on my table? No, I don't. They're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So you agree that the sheen is just like worth it. And
100%.
it's
Like I'm on board.
okay, so it's so much more expensive. It's stupid expensive,
It's
but
stupid
just a heads up.
expensive. It's worth it. Have you ever
Yeah.
had an imaginary friend?
No, but I always wanted one. I was so jealous. My friend in second grade, Anna, had had an imaginary friend. Her name was Veronica, and she was like, "This is my imaginary friend, and she comes with me everywhere, and we have sleepovers every single night." And I was like, "I want one. I'm gonna steal Veronica."
That's amazing. You didn't think to just like get your own Veronica?
Well, I can't just steal her. Someone's like imaginary friend and say, "I have Veronica."
No,
Like,
you could make your own imaginary. It's literally called an imaginary friend.
well, I tried to like think of one, but I was like, it turns out having an imaginary friend at home when you're like an only child is really boring.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a lot of work, actually. I've had a lot of imaginary friends as an only child, but it's a lot of work to maintain them.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you have
I
to like, it's like a friend, but you have to do all the work because you have to have both sides of the conversation and stuff. So it's like a friend who can't react to you. So yeah, it's the opposite of how people feel about my channel, where I just talk for an hour and they don't have to do anything and they could just chill and listen to it. I mean, lots of people tell me that that's why they watch it. And so it's the opposite of that because you have to do all of the work.
it's true. It's like no work. When I'm sewing, I'm like, she's right. Oh, I love this. And I'm just like sewing.
How superstitious are you?
In reality, outside of the hospital, not superstitious at all. Inside the hospital, I am super superstitious. So I have a rule. If it's a full moon, it's going to be a bad call. And it's true. It's just true. If it's the 13th on a Friday, it's going to be a bad call. And it's true.
Oh, I think the opposite about Friday the 13th. I'm like,
Oh
oh, it's
my
going to be a
God,
good
there's so
day.
many babies like being born on Friday the 13th. And if babies are born, they need epidurals. They're going to get emergency C-sections. You don't sleep.
Oh, okay. I mean, I was born on January 5th, but I was born in an emergency C-section. My mom had a stroke and they pulled me out. And
Oh
I
my God,
turned out just fine.
is your
What?
mom okay?
Yeah,
Is
she's
your mom
totally fine.
okay?
Yeah, everybody's fine. I'm fine.
Okay,
I had a
I mean,
collapsed lung because
oh
I
my
was
God.
6 weeks early. So they like puffed my lung back up for me. And now you can tell my lungs are just fine. I scream at everybody constantly. So it's all good.
I did not know that about you. That's really like, I was also an emergency C-section. I was a nuchal
Oh,
cord.
uh-huh. Oh, wow.
So I absolutely would have died before I was born because that was 100% fatal. So was your thing.
Yeah. We both
So
would have
like
died for sure.
people are like historically accurate. I'm like, or don't you wish you were born back then? I'm like, I wouldn't even be alive. Like,
Yeah, I posted this thing about like, hey, give me questions for a Q&A, and someone was like, what period would you like to live in? And I'm like, this one, because I like toilet paper and modern medicine.
yes, I like emergency C-sections and I love being able to offer it to my patients when they need
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I enjoy
But
also my phone.
yes. But yeah, I am inside of a hospital. I will never say the Q word, which is quiet. I will never say the B word, which is bored. And I will never say the S word, which is slow. So
Oh,
quiet, slow. Never say those words inside of a hospital. People will smack you.
yep. Because that is the trigger for some like school shooting to happen and you get 75 patients.
Like, I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times on trauma, someone's like, I'm bored. I'm like, don't say it. And the next thing you know, like 3 gunshot wounds walk through the door and we're all like up all night, just like
Yeah.
resuscitating very, very sick people. So,
So you're not superstitious at home at all?
I mean, there's a couple of things like, I think Koreans are very superstitious in general.
Yeah.
I don't wear white muslin in my hair because it's supposed to be bad luck. But I'm not really all that superstitious otherwise.
Okay.
I don't like invite bad things to happen. I'm not gonna be like, oh, something bad definitely isn't gonna happen. But like, I'm not. I'm neither religious nor superstitious.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
You can have an unlimited supply of one thing for the rest of your life. What is it? Sushi, Scotch tape, what? What?
Silk thread.
Silk thread.
Silk thread.
It's
Or
funny
scalamandre.
because it's very close to what Constance said, which was black thread.
Black thread of all things. That's pretty common.
Black thread. This is gonna go up after she gets it, so I have a box full of black thread to send to Constance for Christmas because I'm like, aha, I'm getting you black thread now.
Perfect.
If you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would you live?
Scotland.
Scotland, yeah, that's a good one.
So Matt and I got married in Scotland. It's beautiful, and
I did not know that.
Oh my God. So it turns out that in Scotland you can rent a castle for next to nothing.
Yeah. And Ireland
So
also.
yes. And then so like we were looking at all these wedding venues in the US, and it was like rental fee like $3,000. And I really wanted a small wedding. So we rented Dalhousie Castle in Scotland. Now this is like 9 years ago, but like renting a castle from 10 o'clock in the morning till midnight, the entire castle, the ballroom, the chapel, everything, the grounds was £1,000.
Wow. That's really good.
And they were like, we'll throw in a free bagpiper who bagpipes you into every room.
I want to be bagpiped into every room. Wow.
Right?
That's amazing.
And then they had a white barn owl deliver the wedding rings.
Wow.
And it was amazing. Like literally they were like, oh, do you want the owl bonus? It's 100 pounds. I'm like, yes.
Yes.
100
Yes,
pounds.
I do.
I will pay 10 times that for an owl to deliver the wedding rings.
Yes.
And this is when I was a resident. I was still like, poor, but like, I was like, that owl is worth it to me. And then, that hour that you have between getting married and reception, like, there's like that hour you kill.
Cocktail hour. Yeah.
Yes. Their cocktail hour was they went out on the grounds and did falconry for an hour.
Wow. That's amazing.
So like,
wow.
Scotland's fun. I would just want to live there, drink there, and have fun there for a year. And the anesthesia there is supposed to be really great. So I'd love to learn more about like Scottish anesthesia, and like, yeah, it'd be fun.
Is it different than our anesthesia?
No, but like Edinburgh, like the University of Edinburgh, apparently like that's where like anesthesia was like based and everything. So it's a really cool place. And I know this, I don't really talk about this that much, but I really do find anesthesia to be incredibly interesting.
I kind of do too, because you can make someone go to sleep, not feel stuff, and then wake up.
You put them into mini comas. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then like my favorite part is like if they're having like arm surgery, like it's horrifically painful. So I do a numbing shot using an ultrasound right here, and their arm just goes to sleep for a whole day, and they like have no pain, and it's like safer, and it's like it's wonderful, and you could just take away people's pain.
Yeah, that's really good. Do you know how I have a weird fear of being put under?
It's not weird, dude. It's a mini coma. Yeah, you're allowed to be scared.
Yeah, like every time I have to have it happen, I'm like, do I really have to go all the way under? Because I'm terrified I won't wake up. Like I'm like,
I it's like such a normal fear. I think people are more afraid of the anesthesia than they are of surgery.
Yeah, although I can tell you that I've had surgery twice. I've had oral surgery, and I've had my what is that thing called? Not the appendix, the other one, gallbladder out. And I've been put out for both of those. And both times the anesthesiologist was the person that made me stop screaming. Cause like I was hysterical when I went in for my gallbladder. They told me it was an emergency surgery. I had to go the next day. And I was like, I had just watched all 7 seasons of Nip Tuck. So I was freaking out. And when I closed my eyes, all I could see was them like doing that. There are people who are sensitive to these things. So I'm just not going to say it. But anyway, I was freaking out. I was crying. I was kind of hysterical. And the anesthesiologist comes in and goes, it's going to be okay, darling. Let me just hit you with this. And like Valium goes in and you're like, hey, everything's fine. Like instantly you're like, I'm cool. Get me gallbladders out.
So I went to bartending school in undergrad to help pay for undergrad. So I make a mean cocktail, and I feel like that's one of the reasons I love anesthesia. I'm basically the cocktail doctor.
You put people out one way or the other.
Yeah, and honestly, your story is like so many people's stories. It's like it's normal to be scared. Like it's terrifying.
Yeah,
Two things I do want to say is Grey's Anatomy is garbage. The
I've never
American
seen it.
Society of Anesthesiology. Yeah, the American Society of Anesthesiology, the ASA has written them 3 letters begging them to stop making stuff like this because people are more scared of anesthesia because of Grey's Anatomy. And I'm not even going to talk about the stuff that they've done on Grey's Anatomy that people are scared of, but like they make anesthesia the scariest.
Yeah. Both times though,
So,
I was like, I like that anesthesiologist. The guy who came when I had my gallbladder out was Australian, and he was very, very pretty, and came and gave it to me, and I was like, "Do you want to come home with me?" Like,
I don't get that. Damn it. Nobody ever says anything like that to me.
oh, I'm happy for you to come home with me too. I already told you I want to be your husband, so that's fine.
Oh, I'll take it.
Okay, great. If anything ever, God forbid, happens to Matt, call me.
You me.
If you could have a personal assistant, what would you have them do?
Change my thread on my machine.
You have a 10 thread machine. Do you still have to change your thread?
So, I love my machine. I love all machines, but the thing about it is that all thread breaks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it snags, it catches. My new machine's actually really good. I can actually have it run without me in the room. But for instance, my old machine, I would literally have to sit next to it and just be hand sewing while it rans because it snagged so frequently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even so, it still snags. I would say about an hour, it snags about 3, 4 times. So being able to having to drop something and change the snags and then keep it going.
Can you just restart from where you were and keep going?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
with the new one you can. Like there's certain things, like for instance, when you're making really delicate lace, and this may be too much nuance for your channel, but like when you're making really delicate lace, it can get stuck and then it'll tear the whole
Oh yeah.
lace and
Mm-hmm.
ruin it. And the same thing can happen with really, really delicate like cottons, like like that grape dress that I had to do 4 times because it kept tearing.
Yeah.
And then I finally got one, and then my Roomba ate it.
I'm like this face to that. You said that and I was like, no.
So it does tear, machines tear. I do, and again, this is not like, I have a new machine, it's called a Valiant, and again, it's not meant to be a plug, it's just a better machine. It doesn't do that as much, which is nice.
That's great. But you'd still have your personal assistant sit there and change it when it did happen.
Yes, I would.
You're like,
And
your
also
job
mail
is to sit here and watch this machine go chug, 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 chug all day.
and I would have her mail off my Etsy's because that one's boring. Although, like, I would not let her put together the kits because putting together the kits is like so fun for me. Like, that's the
Oh,
reason
that's
I
good.
do it. Here's a little bit of ribbon and a little bit of elastic, and like
I've
that.
been mailing out Christmas presents recently, and I've been doing it in small chunks because I found that I can't believe how freaking long it takes to get that, like putting the address in, getting the postage, weighing the thing, whatever, and then putting it all together, taping it up. I get like 5 packages an hour. Like that's how slow I am at making packages happen. And it's like I have all the stuff already. I'm not even doing anything but packaging it. It's still, I get 5 packages. So every day I send out 5 packages to my friends for Christmas presents. And I'm starting
Oh.
now because, by the way, it's like November. I'm starting now so that they get them because I'm afraid I won't be able to send out all the stuff.
So if you had a personal assistant, that's what you'd have them do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
Also,
like yes, like it's so boring, like and slow.
it's so slow. Red Threaded put a thing up that was like, here's all the packages that I got packaged up. And I'm like, I don't know how you did that. Like, it was like
Oh my god.
70 packages yesterday. I was just like, how long did that
That
take
was
you?
a crazy photo. I
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
believe I was like, I would have done that over 2 weeks. I've been like, well, it's Black Friday. Sorry, it's gonna take me 2 weeks. Like,
absolutely.
because for me, I just do whenever I have a bunch of packages, I just make myself do 8 a day with
Mm-hmm.
Etsy. And to be fair, Etsy does make things a little bit easier because they like print things out in batches for you, but you still have to weigh it and
Yeah.
everything and like better. So
I ship through Etsy even though I'm not getting orders. Like you can just mail through Etsy if you, oh, sorry, no, PayPal.
Okay, yeah, I do the PayPal one too because
Yeah.
that one's free.
Yeah. If you could commit any crime and get away with it, what would you choose and why?
I don't know. I'm so like I'm such a bad liar and I'm so like damn honest.
Remember,
And
you get away with it.
I can get away with it.
Anything you want, you get away with it.
I'd sneak into the Met and take photos of all the dresses that they hoard and don't share photos of.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, and the Kyoto Institute. Like the Kyoto Institute have a rule that like they don't share photos with you, even if you offer them money, or if you like, or if you're like studying, like they don't let you study anything.
It's
Like
crazy
I
because
would
that's the
go to.
point of a museum.
I'm just like, why are you doing this then? Like, what's the point? Like, it's nutty to me.
It is
So I
nutty.
would sneak into the Kyoto and I would take pictures of all their laces so I could digitize it, and all their dresses so I could take patterns off of it because they don't share. And that's the point of a museum. You're supposed to share. Like, I'm
Yeah.
willing to pay you guys money, but you won't even let me.
Right. That's horrible. That's horrible. What is the best item you have purchased during COVID?
Okay, this is not technically an item I purchased, but it was one that was gifted to me, and that's so good that I bought another one. It's actually my Beatrice form.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. And so, okay, so if you don't know this, I actually was contacted by a 3D modeling company that offered to make me a dress form of a scan of my body. And I accepted it because it was one that I was thinking about trying anyway. I was kind of curious and I was always like, is it really that good? And so they sent it to me and I drafted one thing on it. And the next day I got myself another one because
Yeah.
it was just because completely honestly, like I always have a really hard time drafting with my shoulders because my back is kind of has a weird arch and no dress form is like it. I can
Me
even
too.
take a photo. And so because of that, whenever I do anything, like the neckline is way too loose. So
Same.
there's always like that little bit of flaying right here and
hmm
here. I don't know if
this has that problem.
you do. Okay, I didn't realize.
This has like right here, it's all wrinkly and stuff because my dress form poofs out more and also my shoulders are sloped more. So there's always extra stuff. You can fix it with padding, but like who wants to do that?
Yeah, so that's exactly it. Like right here, because of your shoulder slope in the back, this part's always loose.
hmm
And it drove me crazy. And I thought it was something that I just had to live with. And then I drafted the Sleepy Hollow dress, and it's the first dress I've ever made. And I've made like 50 dresses by now that doesn't have it. And it was like the most mind-blowing thing on the planet.
Tell us how that works. Like how what is the process like of doing that?
Okay, so you buy a dress form like from them, and then they send you a garment to wear along with very detailed instructions. They give you a YouTube video to watch, as well as there's like a list of things to do. And then you stand in a room with bright light, preferably sunlight, and you have someone with their smartphone just take a video of you in 4 levels above the shoulders, at the breast, at the waist, and then under the arms.
And they can tell how big you are based on a video.
And then you have to give them one measurement, which is your waist.
Okay.
And then after that, they make a 3D model of it and then they send it to you. They send you the image and you have to approve it. And
How
then they,
when you approve it, does it tell you what all the other measurements are?
I didn't really, well, I mean, the thing is, it's all proportional, right?
Yeah.
So if I got one right, I assumed everything else was right, and I figured it might be. And I didn't actually show this in my video. I actually measured everything out and fit all my dresses on it, and it fit perfectly on that dress form as me. So
Okay.
it actually makes sense that it all works. And then so then they once you approve it, they actually laser cut it, the foam, and then they make a custom cover to your body and then they cover it and they send it to you, and on the bottom they like engrave your name and
Oh,
everything. It's pretty. And actually, if you want to see a video of me actually doing it, my Sleepy Hollow dress, I
yeah.
actually show the whole process,
I will link that
including
down
the,
below.
oh, thank you, including the actual like models that they sent me. And again, I did it with my corset because foam doesn't squish like the human body, so you
Yeah.
kind of have to be, which kind of sucks because it would be nice if it just moved like you, but it doesn't. So
Yeah, that's my
So
problem
I
with
got,
it is I want to get one, but I actually want to get several because I would want one with stays on, one with corsets on, like, but what if you made a new corset and that changed your shape, then that mannequin, and then it's, storage from there. So,
yeah, and on the other hand, I mean, they have a deal where if your measurements change so much that it's completely untenable, they'll make you a second body for half the price.
no, that's a great
So
deal.
that's kind of the thing that made me go, okay, I want more babies, but because whenever you have a baby, your body changes, but like who knows how long it's gonna take me to get pregnant and everything. So I just got a second one, and I was just, but like it's so different draping on something that actually has your exact body shape, because I no longer have the flaying. It's like,
Yeah.
it just drives me crazy.
Yeah. I have a secret fear of seeing what that mannequin would look like because when I corset, I've talked about this on my channel, everything kind of goes down and I have a weird,
So,
the seedy
um,
underbelly would be part of that mannequin. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to look at that every day and have it be in the background of my videos. So, but I still might do it.
so basically, if you look at mine, there's that seedy underbelly, and I kind of got sick of looking at it. So what I did is I put a petticoat on it.
Yeah, that's a good call. This lady here has like this weird narrow like triangular bottom thing that is not how my body is at all, and I'm like, yeah, it's actually messing stuff up. So I really should just bite the bullet and do it.
I think you're gonna like it. And again, I didn't mean to plug that product too much or anything, but it's just literally, it was so nice being able to draft
Yeah,
well.
guys, these are
So when
really really expensive. Just so you're clear.
yes, they're like the price of a computer.
Yeah, yes, they are.
But yes, but on the other hand, like I finally fixed something that bugged me for years.
Yeah.
I said, just put a petticoat on it. Seriously, I don't want to look at mine either. Believe me.
I think I know the answer to this question. If you could meet any historical figure and ask them only one question, who would it be and what would you ask?
It would be Madame du Pompadour, and I would ask her, just for the record, you did those wood prints, right?
You did the what?
Woodcuts.
Oh,
Okay, so Madame du Pompadour is like my hero. And her hobby was that she would make these woodcuts of and block print these beautiful images. And she did them with Boucher as her teacher. And she published like 20 of them in a book. And they're so good that people are like, oh, this can't be her.
that's cool. That's a great question. All right, you can't time travel, but your phone has the internet from 5 years in the future. What do you search for first?
Which stocks to invest in?
Everyone always gets on me because I'm like, I would find out stuff like that, or like who won the World Series, or like Marty McFly level silliness. But yeah, or the lotto numbers or whatever.
I mean, dude, I have to pay off my school loans. You have any idea how many school loans I have? And I keep
Yes.
buying dress forms.
Stocks are a little bit innocuous too, because like if I did lottery numbers, that would like essentially take away from someone else, and that someone else could have used that money for something good, so it could really affect the future. But stocks don't seem like they would affect the future that much. So stocks is a good answer.
Retire at a good rate.
If there was a room filled with everything you've ever lost, what item would you be most excited to recover?
Okay, so my mom and I moved around a lot as a kid, and she's a single mom. I was raised by a single mom, and we moved around so that we could try to go where it was cheaper. And so in a lot of these moves, I did a lot of drawings, and my mother kept as much of them as she could. While I was in college, she was traveling, and there was a flood, and it destroyed all of the drawings I did as a kid.
Yeah.
And I actually really love to draw. My big dream as a kid was to become the first doctor slash artist slash novelist. And I was taking illustration, not fashion and digitizing at the time. So I would love to see those drawings again.
I feel like you are well on your way to those things.
Come on, novel.
If you could have any artifact, piece of art, or thing from any art gallery, what would you have? You could have the woodcuts.
Oh my God. It would have to be, oh my God, I'm trying to think. It has to be an item that I've always wanted to digitize, but there's not good photos of it, or it doesn't actually like keep very well. So I would have to say some of
Why?
the, pardon?
Why does it have to have those rules?
Because other, like, whenever I see something in a museum, like, I don't like want that item because I'd be too scared to wear it. I want to make that item again in the future for me because I don't feel guilty wearing my things that I've copied from it.
Okay, so you don't want paintings or the Hope Diamond or a T-Rex statue or a
Why would I
Native
get a
American
T-Rex
pot.
statue?
I'm gonna put it in my front yard, man. I'm gonna be a baller.
I want to go to your yard on like
Right?
Halloween. Oh
Right?
my
And I'm
God.
gonna let kids I'm gonna put it on a rocking horse bottom and I'm gonna let kids ride on it.
I was gonna say a pair of like lace and gagant or engins that I can't otherwise take a better good look at, like the ones at the Kyoto Institute. Hello, Kyoto Institute. Share, please.
All right.
Because I mean, like, I like my jewelry. I like my reproduction pieces. You know,
How long would you last in a zombie apocalypse?
I'm healer class. I'm dead. I have my con and my strength are like 0. I don't know if people know this. Those are D&D terms, and like
Yeah.
it's like Constitution is like how long you can run, like not very long.
And like
How
how healthy you are, essentially. Like, yeah.
not very long. Please make sure I die and they eat me instead of turning me into a zombie, because I would hate to like kill someone else.
Oh, I want to be a zombie so bad. So I'm just like,
What?
get someone else to chop your head off. I got things to do. There's another promo for this. Get someone else to chop your head off. I got things to do.
That is a perfect promo.
Yeah. What is your guilty pleasure?
Lace shopping on Etsy and eBay, because it's so expensive.
It's so expensive, but it's so pretty.
And like I buy so much like vintage lace, and I'm afraid to use it. But I call it the lace hole. It's like the rabbit hole, but it's full of, and it's infinite on Etsy and eBay. Like you
Yeah.
just go down and you're just like, oh my God, that's pretty, that's pretty. And like you look up, it's like it's been 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. And somehow they only ever have 1 yard of it. And you're like, no, I need like 8.
That's exactly it. Like, any like Victorian dress that you want to cover in lace is going to take about 8 to 15 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could only eat one item of food for the rest of your life, what would you eat?
It's going to be either ramen or potatoes. I love ramen.
You would have some clogged arteries.
Don't worry. I died of stomach cancer before that.
Yeah. I'm going tacos. Tacos forever. Tacos for life.
That's a really good answer. Like Taco Bell tacos or like other tacos? Like,
I just said tacos, and that leaves a wide, vast array of different kinds of tacos to eat. You can get Taco Bell, you can get like taqueria tacos, you can get like, oh my God, Korean short rib barbecue tacos are just perfect. That's what I'm talking about.
I always joke that, and not really, but like really, my son is probably made up of 80% Taco Bell because that's all I ate when I was pregnant.
I have not gone to Taco Bell since the COVID has started, and I'm actually like thinking it might be time for a run to the border, because like every now and then you get a Taco Bell hankering.
I just had it yesterday, dude. It's wonderful.
It is wonderful. Like I used to, but I think the thing is like I used to eat Taco Bell like once a week, and I was like, I don't feel good, but like it's so good. And so I tried to be good about Taco Bell, but now that you've said Taco Bell, I really want to talk. That's what I'm going to do after we get off the phone, is I'm going to go to Taco Bell.
No, get it. And like one thing I want to mention is that it's actually assuming that the person who makes your food is wearing a mask, the chance of like spreading COVID through food is actually really low.
Oh
It's
yeah.
much more. So I just want to say, like, if you want to eat at a drive-through and like pick it up and then eat it, take off your mask somewhere else and eat it, it's actually pretty safe. It's
Also,
yeah.
wear your mask when you go through the drive-through. Like,
oh my God, yes. For the love of God. Why would you not?
why would you not? Like that person is being exposed to you also, and also they're being exposed to like 50,000 people a day. Like, wear your mask. It's polite.
Yes, please wear a mask.
If you had to choose between only having a cell phone or a car for the rest of your life, which one would you choose?
Oh, cell phone. Cell phone. Absolutely cell phone.
Because you can dial up a car.
Yes. Did I mention I'm from Queens? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I live in St. Louis now. I'm originally from New York City, so I didn't even like drive until I moved here when I was 27 years old.
Whoa, you learned to drive when you were 27?
So incidentally, I had a driver's license from when I was in high school, and the only reason I got it was because I really wanted an ID.
Oh yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, because you kind of need an ID, and my mom was like, "You really need to learn because everyone needs to learn." But like, I'm going to be frank. I learned from my mom, who is probably like, I love my mom. She is a terrible driver. She's totaled 3 cars in 2 years.
Whoa. Whoa.
You know that joke about Asian drivers? Like, I hate to spread it, but it's kind of true. And like, I'm a terrible driver. So, I've actually gotten much better since I moved here because like Matt had to reteach me everything.
Hmm.
But the lessons my mom taught me about driving were terrifying. For instance, her like her rules of like how to park. Don't bother parking near the other cars. Just go to the back where there's no other cars. Take as many like parking spots as you need.
I mean, that
Like
is
that's
one strategy and it's fairly safe actually. I park at the
it
back where
works.
there's no other cars, so my car doesn't get dinged, and also so I get more exercise.
Oh, well, that, I mean, if you're doing it for the steps, but because you don't know how to park next to other cars is a
Yeah, that's
terrible reason.
yeah, yeah, that's absolutely a terrible reason. But it is a strategy for survival. I will give her that.
So, like, I was a terrible driver, and completely honest, I didn't really care because I never really drove. Then I moved here, I have to drive, and I kind of just taught myself.
Did you find it difficult?
Well, Matt is such a patient teacher, and he taught me everything about it, and it was like a completely different world of learning, so he made it a lot better. Also, if I can, I'm gonna buy a car that can self-drive because I hate driving.
Oh, yeah.
So again, cell phone, and I'll just get a car service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live in San Jose, so I wouldn't want a car service because, like, man, it takes you, like, my commute was an hour and a half on some days, and I lived 17 miles from work. There's no reason it should be an hour and a half, but it's just because Silicon Valley, like, freeways are not designed for this many people. There's just too many folks here. So, like, I would never want to inflict that on some Uber driver because, you know, they'd only charge you like $22, but they'd have to be in the car for an hour and a half. That's not fair.
17 miles takes an hour and a half sometimes.
I would spend 3 hours a day in my car. This is how I'm on, like, all about audiobooks all the time. It was because I would spend 3 hours a day in my car. So, well, and also I started to train my workplace, and I ended up starting to show up at 11 a.m. and stay in work until like 7 or 8 p.m. so that I could miss the main traffic windows, and I still would take like 45 minutes to an hour.
No, that's okay. That's actually makes a lot of sense. 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. I would much rather do that than spend 3 hours in a car like
It
every
was
day.
still at 45 minutes to an hour because there's still traffic at those times because this valley is just clogged.
Okay, that's one thing. Like, when I lived in New York, I just took the metro, the subway and everything, and it was a
Yeah.
lot more doable. I just walked everywhere. I walked like 6 miles a day. Who cares?
I would love that, actually. What movie can you rewatch over and over again?
Anastasia and Moulin Rouge are my two probably go-tos.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love Moulin Rouge. That's a great movie. I've seen Anastasia, but I think I've only seen it once. I thought it was really good though.
I think you'll like it again. I mean, it's a princess movie, except with John Cusack and Meg Ryan being like
Cute.
a like rom-com.
Yeah. I listened to this podcast called So You're Wrong About, and they did an episode on the actual Anastasia. So, yeah.
I bet she didn't flirt with Dimitri.
You're right that she died.
Oh my God, but Anastasia, it's so delightful because it has, I mean, there's a reason why it's a hit Broadway musical
Yeah.
afterwards, because it
Yeah.
just hasn't, it hits all the feels and all the rom-com like love joy as well as, you know, the death of her family and all that.
Yeah. There's this like animated movie because it's not a Disney movie. It's like it's made by
Mhm.
another place, I think.
Don Bluth, yeah, 20th Century
Um,
Fox.
there's this animated movie like zone in which animated movies, so I was a kid and I was a teenager, and then I was too cool for animated movies for like, it was probably like 6 seconds. It was like it was like, 17 to 23, and then I was back all in, and it
I
came
can't
out
imagine because you're
exactly
like, you don't care about being too cool. You're like,
right.
you're always cool, you know?
Yeah, I cared for like literally a couple years. And so I didn't go see animated movies for that time. And so I'm still like an unbelievable amount of animated movies came out in that amount of time that I'm still trying to catch up on. Like what was it? Treasure Planet came out then, Atlantis came out then. Like Treasure Planet's actually pretty good.
Hey, it's not my favorite, but yeah.
Yeah. But there's like all I mean, Tangled came out. And then the first movie I saw again in the theater when I was like, nah, this is stupid. I'm going to go watch this stuff. And I went by myself. I went to see The Princess and the Frog. And I was like, that movie was great. So now I'm like, I got to go back. So I'm working my way through all of them.
I love animated movies so much. And until COVID hit, I try to catch every single one of them like in theaters. Ones like the ones that are good. I'm not talking Cars here, but
yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of Cars because my kid really likes Cars.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not good.
That's like one animated movie that like I think it's technically beautiful. Like I can appreciate how it's made. I'm not into that movie. Like Cars is okay.
And the world makes no sense. Like, why do they have porta potties?
Right?
The thing is, I love animated movies. I thought I wanted to become an animator. One of my best friends in high school, Rianne in Delanoy, and I were like, oh, we should totally both do this. And now she works for Pixar as an animator.
Oh, that's great.
I like go and I like sit through the credits and look for her name.
You make so much more money than her.
She actually makes a really good living.
Yeah. I have 3 or 4 friends who are animators because I live in Silicon Valley and like you know, DreamWorks was up here and ILM's up here and all that stuff. So like there's a lot of my friends who work on movies and yeah, I mean the animators get paid pretty well. I have friends that were render wranglers. Do you know what those are?
Oh,
So when they animate the movie in the computer, they send the files down to this place called a render farm. And the render farm does all the processing. You know how like when we render videos, that's what happens at the end. So their job is to sit there and just babysit these tiny chunks of the movie and make sure that the render doesn't fail. And if it fails, they have to fix it. And so my boyfriend, I had this boyfriend called Carl for a very long time. He was a render wrangler and he worked like midnight to 8 a.m. sitting there because he was a night owl. That's why he dated me. And he would sit there and like fix the renders all night. So there's this team of people that spends 24 hours a day babysitting the rendering of tiny fragments of the movie so that they can be put together. And how many renders he had to do of parts of the movie that never got put in the movie is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is great. Okay, I didn't know that, and that sounds like an anthill of a job.
It is an anthill of a job. And I mean, he liked it because he got paid okay. Like it was okay money, and he got to work on the schedule he wanted to work on, which was cool. And most of the time, nothing's happening, right? Because like the computer is munching on the thing and it's fine. So he got to like do a whole bunch of other stuff that he wanted to do, right? During that time. Like you could read books or, you know, whatever. So
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I mean my friend actually makes really good money working for Pixar. She enjoys it. She loves it. And she gets to make beautiful art. And I'm always like just amazed by that.
You still could. There's still a chance.
Oh, no, but that's the thing. Like, if I made $1 billion tomorrow, I would still just only go part-time. Like, I actually really like hospital work. It makes me feel productive.
All right. Question 20. If you were the captain of a pirate ship, what would the name of your ship be?
I mean, obviously the Pompadour.
That seems appropriate.
Yeah. HMS Pompadour, because Her Majesty is me.
And the super controversial bonus question is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Ding.
By the technical definition of a sandwich, by the Webster Dictionary, which actually says that it can be a split roll with something inside.
Yep.
It's a sandwich, guys.
So I antagonize everyone. So the antagonizing of the yes party is, but a hot dog is a hot dog whether or not it is in a roll.
But a square is always a rectangle.
That is true. That is true. And honestly, when I ask the question, I'm always asking it in the American hot dog, which always comes with a bun and perhaps some toppings. So to be fair, that's true.
I just like to go by technical definitions, you know, where possible.
Yeah.
Because it gives my life structure and meaning and order to know that things are things, even if we feel differently about something, that doesn't
Yeah.
change what it is.
All
I
right.
think that makes sense. I mean, it hits different emotions, but for me, I like to go by technical definitions.
Yeah.
For you, technically, is a hot dog a sandwich?
My answer is I'm neutral. I don't care. I honestly don't care at all. My thing is that I find it absolutely hysterical how upset people get about it. And so that's why
Really?
I asked the question. Like I know I don't actually want to upset people, but I think the controversy and the debate is riotously funny because people get passionate. They get like super passionate and they start like yelling at me about it. And I'm like, why are you like I've had to like literally tell people in my comments like take a step back, yo, because like you're yelling at me over nothing. And like if you want to unsubscribe from me because I really have no opinion about a hot dog being a sandwich or not, but I just like to ask the question, go for it.
I think it's a really fun question, and I actually had to like look up the definition after watching your videos, be like, where would I fall on it? Because I was like, no, yes. And Matt and I had a discussion, and now he agrees with me because of the square thing. But like, completely honestly, when I saw the Bernadette video, I was like, yes, that is exactly it. Like, that was the answer I was going to tell you because I was getting ready for my video.
So, well, Bernadette is a no. She's a hard no.
No, she is a hard no.
All right. Thank you for joining me today, Christine. I will leave a list of Christine's accounts and videos and stuff like that down below so you can check her out and show her some love. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below letting me know what you're up to, and I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye, guys.